guys are having a fantastic evening. Thank you so much, BlockchainHUB, for giving us the opportunity to present the case here. And yeah, thank you all the organizers. Thank you, Omid. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Otelia, and the judges as well. So before I start the actual presentation, I wanted to bring something to your notice. So humans have been trading since the beginning of time. And they've been trading for food, they've been trading for clothing, their jewelry, ornaments. And the thing is, one of the earliest examples of international trade was the establishment of the Silk Road, which is in this picture. It's an artist's depiction of that. Not much has actually changed since then. And as a matter of fact, during this Silk Road times, Chinese goods were making their way through to India, to Persia, and then the Roman Empire and vice versa. And right now, China, the United States, and the European Union are the three largest trading markets in the world. However, unfortunately, technology implementation, and implementation is a key word here, did not really keep up with the rate at which they expanded their business operations. So the thing is, my name is Fahim Salam. I'm here joined by my co-founder Rajiv Das, our industry rep Rudra and Adil, and Emmanuel is joining us, who is the head of our Nigerian operations, and introducing to you Loop. So Loop is a cloud-based, technology-driven freight forwarding company. And Loop uses the Hyperledger Fabric to record location and time data points and creates a distributed ledger for all sorts of shipping documentation. The problem. So that's a very easy problem to kind of point out. International shipping is hard. It's very difficult. It's probably one of the most important use cases for blockchain. And I'll actually tell you a story here. So there's this guy called Chuck. He's a buyer from America. He wants to buy goods from China. So he calls up his Chinese manufacturer and he tells him that, you know, I want to buy some goods of this dimension, this quality. I'm going to send you a purchase order. I'm going to email it to you. If you do have any questions or so, keep me in the loop. So the Chinese manufacturer over there, he finishes his manufacturing, and the shipment is sitting in his warehouse. He calls up his broker. He's like, hey, Mr. Broker, I have some goods that I would like to send to America, to my buyer. Please, I would like to request that you send me some sort of essentially some competitive pricing and send me a carrier. So the broker, and anything else, any kind of questions that you have, you may keep me in the loop. And now the broker gets all analytical, does a lot of number calculation, and what he does is he sends the carrier on the way to the warehouse and tells the carrier that if there's some problems on the way, if there's some delays, keep me in the loop. And so the carrier goes to the warehouse, picks up the goods, drops it off at the port, tells the port guy to keep the broker in the loop because the broker has to do all the documentation. So as you can see, there's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of relaying of information, and nobody ends up keeping each other in the loop. And that's what creates the problems. The moral of the story is everything is delayed, there's a lot of manual documentation, there's a lot of costs involved, there's a lot of opportunity costs involved. So there was this research done by Capgemini Consulting. Actually, this way is better. They did a pretty good job at summarizing the 4 biggest challenges facing shippers. And the shippers were very easy to point out that, okay, we want to cut down all the transportation costs. 63% actually said that. However, there are hidden inherent costs associated with the transportation costs. That is, you have bad business processes, you have bad customer experience, and you have bad visibility. And if you actually take a step back and kind of realize that this is a perfect use case for blockchain, and if you actually improve on that, you can have a significant impact on the transportation costs. Canada. So we're in Canada. We got to talk about a little bit about Canada's presence in the world trade. So Canada ranks 14th in the World Bank's International Logistics Trade Performance. And the performance could actually be improved by addressing some of the customs formalities, which are pretty archaic, and improving the transportation infrastructure. On that same index, Canada actually also ranks 32nd on this separate criteria, which is known as ease of arranging competitively priced shipments. So recently there was this thing called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is known as the CPTPP. Essentially, it's a consortium of 11 countries to trade freely across the Pacific barrier, which kind of provides us with an incredible opportunity here. That's lots of data. There's going to be immense, exponential increase in trade across this border. It's going to be immense amount of events taking place and a lot of data being exchanged. And we all want to document that as part of Loop's blockchain. So our solution is simple. We have a web-based platform to easily book, track, manage international shipments in a seamlessly cost-efficient manner. This is a little bit of a snapshot of our product. And our value proposition here is that it has centralized booking. All your inbound, outbound, air, road, ocean shipments in one platform. Singular invoice. All your costs, whether it be from carriers, shippers, customs, insurance, in one unified invoice. Much easier to pay. Full tracking, of course. Every step of the way, you know exactly where your shipment is. So let's talk about the market a little bit. So people throw in a lot of values here, $1 trillion industry, supply chain, yada, yada, yada. Let me break it down to you. So the market size for international freight transport is about $1.4 trillion. $800 billion of that makes up the road transport, and the rest is divided into ocean and air. So the digital freight forwarder market is roughly about $40 billion and growing exponentially. And we want to be part of that growth, and we want to lead that by adding implementation of Hyperledger Fabric. So I always say to myself that this is not just a good time for blockchain implementation, but this is just the right time. So there was this article from Business Insider. So what these guys were trying to summarize was that a lot of these 3PL companies and logistics companies are spending heavily on buying sensors and getting data from their trucking activities. And so by 2020, about $20 billion is going to be on their budget to install IoT devices, the sensor devices, that is. So where do you think all these gazillion terabytes of data are going to go? Of course, in the Loop blockchain. A little snapshot of our competitors here. So Flexport is a tech-driven freight forwarder, very similar, operating out of the States. They recently raised $100 million at a valuation of $800 million. They've been operational about 5 years now. However, these guys have no blockchain backing, nor do they operate in any of the emerging markets where we are. Turbo, on the other hand, they raised $25 million, based in Seattle, I believe. These guys, software company, no field in the actual operations. It is very difficult to raise revenue in just a software realm. So Coyote Logistics is a tech-driven logistics company recently bought by UPS. So that actually validates how the demand for logistics companies, tech-driven logistics companies, are in the space. But these guys are only operating in the States. So is Convoy. Convoy is only doing on-demand trucking, no freight backing or blockchain. As you can see, these guys are all US-based. None of them work out of Canada. So our business model, again, is very simple. Right now, we are operational within the Golden Triangle, on-demand logistics software, through carriers and shippers and consignee. However, we want to be building the Platinum Circle. And for that, obviously, the Hyperledger Fabric is going to be useful. So we are currently charging about 5 to 7% commission on our on-demand logistics operations. And we hope to be charging about 10 to 12% once our freight forwarding software is up in the market. And our lowest projected revenue is about, from the 2 months of operations that we had, is about $700,000. So this is just, a graphical representation of what I just said. We hope to generate about $1 million by mid-2019. So let's talk a little bit about the team. We have a pretty solid team here. That's myself, my co-founder Rajeev. We both met at UBC. We co-founded multiple startups in the past. This is my third startup, his third startup as well. And we've both been traders. So essentially we used to trade, bulk buy stuff from China and India and sell them in Canada. So we're kind of like the old guys in a new game. And that's Emmanuel. Emmanuel is spearheading our operations in Nigeria. We actually met at C Lab, so yeah, definitely giving back to the community with our cooperation. And essentially he and his partner Wally, they own a freight forwarding company, and as per our agreement, it's going to be on our platform, so the revenue is going to come to us. Wasim has been instrumental in the essentially the operations in Bangladesh. He has gotten us clients such as SA Group and Fiber Deals, which has been instrumental in our growth. Adil and Rudra, they have been in business development and trade investor relations, essentially very pivotal in generating certain critical relationships in the government offices. So a board of advisors, as you can see, pretty experienced people from all over the world. And PepsiCo, Lululemon, and Microsoft are some of the brands that you guys will obviously recognize. So this is a snapshot of our clients, and I have 30 seconds until I get the booth. So a little focus on our roadmap. We're ending our architecture very soon, and we want to be developing the product with C Lab. And essentially after that, we want to be integrating and testing out with the partners that we have by Q2 of this year. Focus is simple: generate revenue from the emerging markets that we operate in, and at the same time build a Hyperledger network here. So last slide is that for us to maximize our value proposition, we have to be a pioneer in all these three fields. That is freight forwarding, transportation technologies, and blockchain. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, thank you. And